What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Big Apple Baseball Banter, episode number 46 here on Big Apple Banter Media. A lot of bad Mets news, and we're doing season predictions today. Let's banter. All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Baseball Banter. Today, we are doing season predictions, but first, we have to talk about the awful Mets news because nothing can go right when you are a fan of the New York Mets, because the Mets should just be called the injuries, the hospital, whatever you want to call them, because every year they get hurt nonstop, and it's always to our best players. So let's jump right in. Jacob deGrom. He had soreness in his shoulder, goes in for an MRI. Stress fracture, bone injury, something crazy like that, out for 4 weeks. Opening day start not happening. Pretty much takes him out of Cy Young running. And thank God we signed Max Scherzer. But wait, hammy injury. Now, this one probably won't keep him out much, but it's something that might be lingering throughout the year. It's just this team can never catch a break. If those two guys are out, you got Chris Bassett as your ace, which is not great, but fine. But behind that, you got Carlos Carrasco, Tyler McGill, Taijuan Walker, and I'm not blaming the Mets front office for having a lack of pitching depth. It would be nice to have a few more guys, but you can't predict these injuries. It's so unfortunate. It seems like every year the Mets just get hurt nonstop. Last year, deGrom missed the second half. Nimmo is out a bunch. A lot of guys were either hurt or McNeil, Conforto were hurt and were also terrible. It's just this team can never catch a break. I don't want to talk about it too much. It's just we're going to be missing Jacob deGrom for probably the first month of the season. And with the Mets' luck, probably a few setbacks in there too. So I think Scherzer is going to be fine, but it's definitely weakens our pitching depth. Maybe you can have Trevor Williams pitch out of the rotation instead of just a long guy in the bullpen. David Peterson might get a shot. We'll see. Hopefully some of these guys can step up, but I would prefer, obviously, Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom over David Peterson and Tyler McGill. So, in other news, the Mets traded Miguel Castro for Joely Rodriguez. I don't really know anything about Joely Rodriguez. I know he's a reliever who's pretty decent for the Yankees last year. We traded him to the Yankees, by the way. I just need to say one thing. Can Met fans stop getting so up in arms and upset about getting rid of mediocre players? I see this every year. A bench guy we like, or sort of like, gets DFA'd, and it's the end of the world. Why? What are we doing? Why are we trading him? Why are we cutting him? Miguel Castro has one more year of control. He's a walking heart attack with how bad his control is a lot of time. And I know he has high upside and whatnot, but we need a lefty. That's what Joely Rodriguez is. Carson Mets fan, told me that they're pretty similar players. I'm not going to get too up in arms about this. Like I said, it's a very minor move. So let's just get straight into season predictions. So we're going to go standings and awards. I'm not going to give win records. I'm never too crazy about doing that kind of stuff. Just because you technically have to kind of go head to head and whatnot. More in football predictions, but like, let's say the Mets beat the Phillies 5 times. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to explain, but you can't really get an exact win total. So I'm just going to give the order of the standings that I believe the Mets or the MLB standings to be. Also for awards, I'm going to give betting odds. I don't bet myself. I'm not of age. I don't think a lot of my audience is either. It's just more interesting to me to see what other people think is going to be the Cy Young or the MVP. And maybe if you are a betting person, you get some low odds, you can maybe make a good amount of money. So let's jump right into this. Let's start with my favorite division, my favorite league, the National League and the National League East. Last place, we got the Washington Nationals. They are really bad. They have Juan Soto, and that's kind of it. A lot of just veterans who've been out of the league, it seems. Alcides Escobars of the world just starting for this team. Patrick Corbin was really bad last year. Steven Strasburg gets hurt every start. Just this is not the same Nationals team that won the World Series. That was a very old team to begin with. They lost everybody, and this is what they have left. Next, I have the Marlins. Marlins could be sneaky competitive, man. Their pitching staff, really nice young rotation, but their offense still a bit lacking, and they're a decent team in a shitty division, but this division has improved so much from last year that I still think they're only a 4th place team. They have a very bright future, though. Phillies come in 3rd place. They're going to hit bombs. They have decent front end rotation. but the back end is weak. The bullpen sucks, and maybe the worst defensive team of all time when you got Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarbers of the world, Didi Gregorius, Alec Boehm, guys like that playing the field every day. It's going to be rough. Mets, my New York Mets, we're going to come in second place, in my opinion. I would have put us in first place without this deGrom injury, but that's going to be a big hit to us having the guys like I said, Tyler McGill or David Peterson, Taiwan Walker pitching every 5 days. That's going to be tough. The offense, still a bit questionable in my mind. Also, injuries, especially in the outfield, if they happen. We literally don't have a fourth outfielder right now. It's who? Travis Janikowski. At this point, I'd sign Michael Conforto back as a good role player. At this point, I don't think he has a leverage to force him to be a everyday starting player. So, Mets coming in second, and I have the Braves the Braves in first. It seems like they got worse because they lost a lot of the players from the World Series run. Jorge Soler, obviously, the MVP. But they get Ronald Acuna back. I don't know if he's starting opening day, but he should be back at some point. Marcell Ozuna back as your DH. Obviously, the National League has DH now. Mike Soroka should be back at any point. It's just not fair. They basically got better doing nothing. They swapped out Freddie Freeman for Matt Olson, which is a pretty equal flip in my opinion. And for me, I can't bet on the Mets to beat the Braves until they finally do it. The Braves have just been really good recently. Obviously, just won a World Series. Can the World Series hangover be a thing? Yeah, I don't think they're gonna, go back or win it again, but they definitely are. I think are gonna win the division. Moving on to NL Central, I have the Pirates coming in fifth. Not much to say here. This team's a mess. They sent down O'Neal Cruz because uh, Kevin Newman is a huge upgrade. No, it's because they're manipulating his service time. I'm tired of teams doing this. This division has so many rebuilding or tanking teams that don't seem like they're even trying. Hot take number 4, Chicago Cubs. I don't get it. There's players last year who I'd never even heard of. We're really counting on Patrick Wisdom and Frank Schwindel to be everyday players for this team who had decent, maybe Wisdom will be good, but Schwindel was terrible and came and had a hot stretch for the Cubs. Now you're expecting him to be the everyday third baseman. Rotation has a couple pieces. You got Headache Stroman, Unblock Me. You got Wade Miley, Kyle Hendricks, a couple solid pieces. The bullpen sucks. The lineup overall is really bad. Suzuki is really exciting out in right field. Obviously, the next kind of big thing from Japan, but a lot of the recent foreign players have kind of struggled a bit. Hopefully, he'll break that. He's a fun player, and also his press conference with the Mike Trout, "I love you." That was awesome. Coming in next, we have the Cincinnati Reds. Talk about a team that's not even trying. They traded everybody away. This team sucks. All three of these teams, I think, are going to be awful. Poor Joey Votto. He's been so loyal to them. I know he's been getting paid a shit ton of money, but a player of that caliber, a future Hall of Fame player, doesn't deserve this team not even trying to win. You got Jonathan India. You got Joey Votto and Luis Castillo. That's kind of it. They had a really nice team a few years ago, lost Trevor Bauer, and then the team kind of just said, all right, we quit. Let's rebuild. Coming in next, St. Louis Cardinals. They're a fun team. Rotation has a few question marks to me. I like Flaherty, obviously Wainwright. Offense, pretty good. Defense, best in the league. I really like their outfield, especially if Bader takes a step up offensively. Carlson, O'Neill, really good players. Obviously, Arenado, I still think is a top 2 third baseman in the game. Shortstop, a few questions there. If you put Paul DeJong in, you get really good defense. Armando Sosa, a little more better offense. Paul Goldschmidt, obviously, incredible player. They're a really solid team. I don't think they're beating the Milwaukee Brewers. Maybe the best rotation in the league. The best 1-2-3 in the league. Not the best 1-2. That belongs to them. That's when healthy. 1-2-3, though, I think. Foreshadowing. I'll mention another Brewers player later when we get to Cy Youngs. And I just spoiled everything. Oh, well. So they're coming in. I know their offense isn't the greatest in the world, but with that pitching and the way they're managed, Craig Counsell, incredible manager. Yelich, I think, will bounce back. They have some solid players on the offense. Offense is good enough to have that elite rotation and that elite bullpen. Looks like Devin Williams is back. He's incredible. Josh Hader is the best reliever in the game. I don't see how anyone beats this team when it comes to winning the division. NL West, Diamondbacks, they suck. They signed Mark Melancon. I think that's kind of it. They extended Ketel Marte. That's nice, but they really didn't make any improvements. They were, if not the worst team, one of the worst teams in baseball last year. They went on that crazy cold streak. They're just really bad. Colorado Rockies, at least they're trying. They signed Chris Bryant, which makes no sense because they let Trevor Story go. Why not keep the guy who's a better player, plays a more valuable position, and has proven it in Colorado? I don't get it. Why the hell did you trade Nolan Arenado if you're going to pay huge money for Chris Bryant? That team makes no sense. Poor Chris Bryant, but also not because he got an absolute bag and is going to be hitting tanks in Coors Field. San Francisco Giants are going to come in third. I think they're a bit of a fluky team just because they're really old. They play the whole platoon game and whatnot. They're very analytical, which is nice. Those types of teams, that kind of way of thinking in baseball is fairly new. So you don't know how well that's going to age. And the rest of their division got a lot better. Speaking of getting better, I think the Padres, just because I think a lot of their players are going to bounce back. Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, I think will have better years. You're getting Mike Clevenger back. They just got Sean Manaea today. You got Mackenzie Gore, the Nelson Lamet, super deep rotation, solid bullpen. Offensively, still a really good team. You got Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth. Obviously, you still have Eric Hosmer in that disaster contract, which, by the way, side note, thank God the Mets did not make that trade yesterday of getting Eric Hosmer and trading Dom Smith. I didn't cover that at the beginning just because it didn't happen, but boy, that would be a disaster. Coming in first place, the best team in baseball. You got the Los Angeles Dodgers. Their teams is absolutely unfair. You got Freddie Freeman at first base, either Gavin Lux, Max Muncy at second, Trey Turner, Justin Turner, third baseline, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, who sucks right now, but his defense is incredible, and he's been an MVP before. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to get back to that form. Chris Taylor, they just shit out with talent. It grows off trees for them. Pitching staff also really great. Walker Buehler's incredible. Bullpen really good. They just got freaking Craig Kimbrell as their closer. This team's going to be unstoppable. They're going to be the best regular season team ever and choke in the playoffs like they always do. Let's get to the awards. So, like I said, I provided some odds here. I'm not a betting guy. I'm guessing a lot of you guys aren't. Just the demographic I believe I have is on the younger side, but it just gives you it's interesting to me to see what other people think the odds are. So NL Cy Young, I spoiled it earlier. It's not Woodruff. It's not Burns. I'm actually going Freddie Peralta. Like I said, the Brewers just pump out pitching constantly. He had a breakout year last year. Really good stuff. Super fun pitcher to watch. And plus 4,000 odds is good value. He definitely has a good shot at winning it. I don't know what he came in last year, but super solid player. NL MVP, a guy who's won it in the past, won the AL MVP in the past. Mookie Betts plus 900, maybe the best outfield glove in the game. Incredible hitter as well. Can steal you some bases. I wonder if they play him at second base again. I never understood that when you have the best defensive right fielder in the game. Just an incredible player. I believe he's their leadoff hitter. And are you going to pitch to him? Are you going to pitch to Freddie Freeman? I mean, that lineup is so incredible that he might be getting some softballs and put up some really good numbers because of it. NL Rookie of the Year. I talked about the Reds not trying, but luckily they called up Hunter Green. This dude is absolutely incredible. One of the most talented players in the game. Was drafted number 2 overall. Should have been. A lot of people thought he would go number 1 overall as either a pitcher or a shortstop coming out of high school, which is just incredible. He throws like 102. Can also play can also hit. I don't know about anymore, but back when he was getting drafted and whatnot, he could have been drafted as a shortstop. Like I said, incredible talent. He'll probably be in the front end of the Reds rotation. I know he got some major league time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he got major league time out of the bullpen last year. Really good player. Really excited to see him pitch. Throws absolute ched. Let's move on to the American League. And I didn't do any predictions for like manager of the year, reliever of the year. I'm just doing kind of the main awards. Manager of the year is pick your surprise team that people didn't expect to be as good as they are. Manager of the year most of the time. And if they have to make the playoffs usually too. All right, American League East, Orioles, they suck. They've been shit for so long. I was thinking about this. They've been awful since 2018. You think it's about time now they would actually try and win. Nope. I don't get it with these rebuilding teams. I get a 2-year rebuild, 3-year rebuild. It's been like 5 years since they were any sort of relevant. They've done absolutely nothing recently. The Orioles are a mess. Adley Rutschman should be up at some point. They got a good farm system, but the team is still going to be terrible. Cedric Mullins is nice. Trey Mancini is nice, but they still stink. Yankees coming in at fourth. No, I'm not just saying this because I'm a Mets fan. The Yankees are a good team in a stacked division with teams I think who are better. Garrett Cole, Luis Severino, decent rotation. I like the Donaldson, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa trade. Improves their defense a bit. Should be interesting where they put Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, guys like that. They have the offensive depth. It just seems like the rest of the division's managed a lot better. I think Aaron Boone's a pretty shitty manager, which I know manager doesn't really have the same impact as it used to, but compared to some of the rest of their division, I think they are a bit behind. They're still going to have a good record, but I think this division is just absolutely stacked. The Rays come in next. I just think they have a very high floor, just given how they play. They play very solid analytical baseball with great pitching. I just think their offense isn't as good as the rest of the division. Neither is their starting pitching, but they shit out talent left and right. They're just an incredibly run organization. Outside of spending money, they do everything else right. So Tampa Bay Rays are going to come in third. The Red Sox, they're going to come in second. Incredible team. Great rotation. They got guys like James Paxton, Rich Hill in there in the back end. Obviously, Chris Sale should be back. Nathan Eovaldi. Nick Pivetta was pretty decent last year too. Nice rotation, really good offense. Love the addition of Trevor Story. I think that's going to be incredible for them. I would play him at shortstop personally, but I guess they don't want to move Xander Bogaerts. I just think on that left side of the infield, you got two weak defenders. Why not have a really good defender in Trevor Story over there? I think he'll make one hell of a second baseman. I know his arm is a bit of a struggle, so it might be kind of like a Marcus Semien situation where you take a shortstop who has throwing issues, move him to second base, and he's absolutely balls out over there. Blue Jays coming in first. Talk about a team that wants to win. They stacked up their rotation. Kevin Gossman, Jose Barrios, Hyunjin Ryu, Alek Manoah, Yusei Kikuchi. Nate Pearson might even get a shot in there. We'll see. They got a great deep rotation. Nice bullpen. Offensively, too, Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette. They got Matt Chapman, Lourdes Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez, George Springer, forgetting about him. Just an incredible team. I think this is the year they finally win that division. AL Central, Royals, they're going to be coming in last place to me. Just didn't really do enough. They're, I think, another year away. Them and the Tigers, who are going to be coming in fourth place for me, both kind of a year away. I like to see they're promoting their top prospects, giving them a shot. Like at some point, I get the service time is great and whatnot, but it's good to get these guys up when your team sucks. Let them learn, let them develop, and then when you're ready to compete, they're playing at that MVP form that we all expect them when they're such highly regarded prospects. Cleveland Guardians at third. Terry Francona's back. Their pitching's great. Offense almost non-existent. I saw their spring training. I know it's just spring training, but lineup card. They had Austin Hedges hitting second. I think that's all I have to say. Coming in second, Minnesota Twins. Obviously got Carlos Correa, Sonny Gray in the rotation. Pretty solid off season for them. Really good offense. Pitching staff, I think, is going to struggle. Same thing with the bullpen. Still a pretty solid team. I really like the additions they made, but I don't think they beat out number one White Sox. Just an all-around super complete team. They have probably the best bullpen in the league, even without Craig Kimbrell, which they got AJ Pollock, which finally fills that hole in right field that they had. They're absolutely stacked everywhere. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Jose Abreu. I don't even have to go into it. Josh Harrison at second base, I like. He bounced back a bit last year with Oakland and I think the Nationals. Obviously, Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada. I don't have to go through the whole team. They're stacked everywhere. Bullpen, Liam Hendricks, Kendall Graveman, Joe Kelly. Michael Kopech's unfortunately out, but really solid bullpen as well. White Sox are coming in first place. AL West, last place. Talk about a team that's not even trying. Oakland A's. They do this every year. Build up a great core, get bounced out of the first round of the playoffs, and then just give up. Oh, yeah, let's get rid of everyone. Let's not even offer Marcus Semien a qualifying offer. Oh, we just left top 3 MVP, just got paid. Oh, that's what the Oakland A's do. Matt Chapman's gone. Matt Olson's gone. Sean Manaea's gone. Chris Bassett's gone. Frankie Montas likely to be gone. Mets maybe trade for him. This is what they do. I know the Moneyball thing is cute and whatnot, but at some point you're going to have to try and win. They don't do that. I know they play in a tiny market, but they have one of the richest owners in the league. I don't get it. Sorry, A's fans. Sorry, Mets fans' dad, who's on the stream with us a few weeks back. I know he's a big A's fan. You guys suck. I'm sorry. Texas Rangers, I think they're the definition of a year away. they actually tried and went to win this year. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, John Gray, Cole Calhoun, some great additions. Mitch Garver, too, behind the plate, pretty solid there. They still have a lot of holes on their roster. I think Josh Jung, he's injured, but he'll hopefully be that starting third baseman coming next year. They have some solid guys in the farm system coming up. I think they're the definition of a year away. Don't be shocked if they go as far as even winning the division next year. Angels come in third. We say the same thing every year. Great offense, no pitching. Pitching improved a little bit. Noah Syndergaard, he threw nothing but fastballs last year and pitched like 3 innings. So he's still a bit of a question mark. Pablo Sandoval, I guess, or not Pablo Sandoval. What's his name? Patrick Sandoval, I think his name is. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon. Great offense with, I wouldn't say great, good offense with a couple holes in there. I like to see they DFA'd was Justin Upton, so now they can bring up guys like Joe Adell, Brandon Marsh. But they've every year, man, they hit well, don't pitch well. Hopefully keep Mike Trout healthy. Was weird not seeing him win the MVP last year. I guess I'm so used to it. Mariners, talk about another team that's really trying to go for it. Robbie Ray, Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez made some really solid additions this offseason. Maybe another team, like I said, who's kind of a year away. I like to see these teams that are kind of in the rebuild process. They gain their prospects. They have the 1 year where they'll spend a bunch, and then they'll play next year, compete for a playoff spot. Also, they really overachieved last year, so don't be surprised if they win the division, considering the improvements they made. Astros are coming in first place. I know they lost a lot of guys, but they've been such a dominant team for the past couple of years. They still have so many guys. Too. Injuries might be a question in the rotation. Guys like Lance McCullers, Justin Verlander, we'll see how he does coming back after not pitching what seems like forever. But they're still a really solid team. Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Michael Brantley, they got some guys on that team. Let's move on to awards. AL Cy Young, I'm going to go Lucas Giolito. He was my pick last year. Didn't do great for me. I think this is his year. Plus 1,100 odds. 1,100 odds. I think he has a good chance in that rotation. I don't know if he's the ace necessarily with Lance Lynn over there. Guys like who else? They got Dylan Cease. They got some guys in that rotation as well. But I think the White Sox are in for a huge year, and I think Giolito's a big part of that. Jose Ramirez for the AL MVP plus 2,200. Looks like he's working on a long-term deal with the Guardians. I doubt they pay him, honestly. They're probably going to trade him. That's what they do. Best third baseman in the league. He's been top 3 MVP voting multiple times. I think this is his year. And AL Rookie of the Year, Shane Baz plus 2,000. Good job, Pirates. You gave the race Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows, and a player to be named later who ended up being Shane Baz, who's like a top 10 prospect and maybe the future ace of their rotation. What are you doing, Pirates? Rays, good job, I guess. This is what they do. Not going to do playoff predictions and stuff like that. I'll wait for the actual playoffs to start. Who's going to win the World Series? Obviously, the New York Mets. No question about that. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode number 46 of Big Apple Baseball Banter. Gave you some awful Mets news. Gave you my season predictions. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, let me know down below. Leave a like on the video. Any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll look forward to answering them on the next episode. Season is coming right up. Can't wait. Let's talk Mets next time. Look forward to seeing you then. Peace out.